Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And today I have another project using the Heartfelt bundle and stamp set, and but it's not a Valentine's card. So I thought I would share with you some things that you might be able to do with this stamp set that's not Valentine's. Let's just get started. Okay, here's my project. And I have here, so lucky to have a friend like you, and I'm using a real red base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And then I have 2 pieces of Very Vanilla, 4 by 5 1/4. This one for the outside that's been embossed in the new embossing folder with the Parisian set, and this piece for the inside. Then I'm using one of our doilies called Heart Doilies. And by the way, in this package are 40 doilies, 20 of each color. There's red and then the Flirty Flamingo. Then I'm using some of our double-edged red ribbon, and I'm using the Heartfelt stamp set. And from this, I'm using this little heart and So Lucky to Have a Friend Like You. And then from the bundle piece, I'm using the plain the plain heart. So you also need a piece of scrap to stamp our sentiment and then punch that out of the with the punch. So again, a very, very simple card. Now what I did was I put this embossed piece up on dimensionals, which I'm going to do again. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this beautiful double-stitched red ribbon. We need a piece about that long. And I'm going to anchor one end of this on here, pull it across, and then anchor the other end here on this other side. Not straight. Let's see if I can get that on there straight. Sometimes if I use my grid paper, that can help me. There we go. That should be straight now. And then I'm going to stick a little glue dot underneath the center of this ribbon to hold it in place, because I didn't put any glue on the back. And that's all going to be good because that's where my bow is going to go. So I'm going to make a small bow out of this ribbon. It's a satin ribbon, so it ties just beautifully. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Just going to nip off my tails here. There we go. And put another glue dot on the back of my bow and put that in place. And since I didn't use a strip of tear tape, I'm going to add a couple more glue dots to either side to hold that bow in place. Lately they feel to me like they're not staying on as well as they should, so oops. So I'm going to put a glue dot underneath here and anchor that bow down right where I want it. There we go. All right, now the stamping we're going to do is on a piece of Very Vanilla, and I just realized I grabbed a piece of white and not a piece of Very Vanilla. Now I've got my stamps mounted, and I have my real red ink here, and I'm going to stamp this. And that is photopolymer, so I'm going to put this on my pierce mat before I stamp it. and give myself plenty of room for that heart. And stamp my sentiment, then use my heart punch to center that sentiment in the middle of my heart. Give that a quick punch. That's ready to go. I'm just going to put a little bit of snail on the back of this piece and set it in the center of my heart. And there's a little loop at the bottom. Let me show you here. On this doily, there's a little loop here at the top and a little loop right at the bottom. And if you can center between those two pieces, this will be centered perfectly. So here we go. And that's centered and ready to go on our card. Now this I also put up on dimensionals. And so I'll do that and remove those. Let's see. I don't want that dimensional to be where it can be seen, because there's little open lace dots on the front of this doily. So there we go. Now my dots, my dimensionals are just behind that. And then it's a matter of putting this down and getting this centered on the front of my card where I want it. Then this piece, we can take off those dimensional backs and put this into place. And there we have the front of our card nearly done. There we go. Now on the inside of this card, I did take a little piece of ribbon and put it across the bottom. So on this one, I'm going to put a little bit of snail on the back of this ribbon, because there's no ridges on this, to hold this down on the inside of my card. And I'm using my dot runner for that because I want it to be movable if I need to. So I'm just going to set that down here. And since I've done this card and I looked at the inside of this, I decided that I wasn't crazy about these two hearts being placed like that. So I'm just going to put one on today, and I'm going to ink up my heart and put that back on my pierce mat. Get that good and inked up, and I am going to put that heart just up in one of these corners, and I think this one will work. There we go. And that is the decoration for the inside. Now I'm going to let that dry for just a second because I don't want it to smear. Working with dark colors like with red, black, navy, some of those colors are a little frightening because they have a tendency to smear if they're not dried, but that looks to be just fine there. And so this is ready then to go on the back of my card, or on the inside of my card, I should say. And that red will lighten up just a little bit as it dries. And there we go. I'm just going to use that to pat it down just in case. And there we have our card done. Now, I did use some of our holiday rhinestones here, and I'm going to use a little bit larger one and put one red rhinestone right down there in the middle. Now you could always use just a regular rhinestone, but I thought since we have the reds, why not use them? So that's it. That's the project for the day. How simple was that? And I yet think it is just a lovely card. And so thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. It would be lovely to have you on my team. Now, it's January, so we're in sale operation. And the 3rd is when the catalog goes live and the free things are available, and the join offer is there. $125 worth of product for $99, plus the mini trimmer, which is this. It's a very tiny guillotine trimmer, little about 4 1/4 inches by about 6 inches, and it's good for just trimming off a little piece of paper or making a sentiment strip, so on and so forth, and it's big enough or small enough to sit on your tabletop. And then you get a package of some of the designer series papers, and you get, let's see, the stamp of your choice out of the new catalog stamp set. So a pretty good deal, and that offer goes through the end of March. So if you've ever thought about it and want to talk it over, give me a holler. My telephone number is always listed below the video, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. So that's it for me. Oh, let's see. I am doing a prize draw today. I have an extra 2-inch circle punch. So if you will share this video, in the next day or so, I will pull a name off and let you know that you've won a 2-inch circle punch. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more tips, and more projects. Bye!